Hello crafty cuties, welcome back to Paper Terrace, and we're gonna get right in. We have a lot of crafting to do today, and I'm gonna show you some of my favorite ways to use book pages to create my own embellishments for my journals, and primarily we're using book page images. So this is gonna be a perfect one for things like little golden book junk journals, but you could follow the same thing even with like a botanical junk journal, or whatever your favorite style is, you can follow along. And I'm going to show you 5 or 6 different ways to use images. If you want to see a video like this, but showing you different ideas for book pages that are mainly text, let me know down below. I already have a few on my channel, but I would love to create another for you. So I'm going to get into the Snow White journal. I'm almost done with this one. So I'll show you an example and then we'll create one together. So we'll get started. First page here, I have a fun little pocket, and you can see I used some of the images to create a cute little scene. So we'll set that one aside, and we are creating for the Dumbo junk journal today. So yes, for this one, I'm gonna put a little pocket right here. I'm gonna just set that aside. I have some of the Dumbo book pages here, and I'm just gonna look through and I kind of want one that has like a little scene, because it's really fun to cut the little pieces apart. I've already cut into this one, obviously. Ooh, this one could be cute because there's like little different flying. I think we're gonna use this one right here. I don't want to take up too much of your time and be indecisive, so let's go ahead. I'll just start by cutting this one off, and I always save the scraps. In fact, I have so many scraps from little golden book junk journals right now that I should do a video using the scraps as well. So on this one, I used, I actually got a couple questions. I used a really cool piece of acetate paper, and I love a see-through pocket. So if you can see, it has a gold foiled like roses. And so I'm gonna do something similar, but I don't have any more of that paper, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna use some pink acetate. Actually, this will look really cute with this journal anyways. But you could also use lace if you want a see-through look and you don't have any of these papers. I'm just going to very not carefully trim. Let's see. I'm just going to put a little mark actually where I need to trim, and I just want this to be about the same width as my page here. I have a bunch of scrapbook papers to the side that I will use. Okay, you know what? I need to just gonna try to trim this the best I can. This trimmer is not my favorite. I like it, but just not my fave. So let me decide. I don't want to cover up too much of the image that I already have. So we'll make this just about 2.5 inches tall. Obviously, you can decide what looks best for your journal. Put that back there. So I'm going to start by kind of fussy cutting out my images for this one. And any of the little images that you have, whoops, who's calling me? We're gonna delete. I had a phone call coming through. So any of the small images that you have, set those aside because we might use those later for something else. But for this one, I'm just going to fussy cut, and it does not have to be perfect. Now you do want to choose your image based on the size of pocket that you are creating. So I'm just gonna go around the main part of Dumbo here. So this is a little bigger than my pocket, but that's okay. As long as it fits mostly, we're good to go. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna cut out like 2 of these little mean looking birds. And we are just going to create a little scene. This is why I think it looks really fun on like a see-through type paper. It just kind of adds some interest to it. We'll go like that. And actually I think this little guy will be at the top. And again, you can see I'm not doing a perfect job fussy cutting. I do have a lot of practice, so don't be sad if you don't go as fast as me. Okay, so I'm gonna go like that. Now you could glue these on or whatever you prefer. This is vellum, so I don't really like using too many adhesives, so I'm actually just going to use some a little bit of double-sided tape. So I'm just kind of figuring out where I need to place my adhesive, because on this image there are some places that we don't need it glued down, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do one more piece over on this side, and I'm just going to tape this down. And I'm just doing a pretty simple version right now, but have so much fun with this. Like, take your time. You can add lace, you can add all kinds of different materials. You can add stenciling to add to your background. That would be really fun. You could even emboss your like base of your pocket to kind of go along with whatever scene you are creating. Okay, so let's see here. I want him to be flying. I do want to make sure I'm not too far over on the pocket, just because I want to make sure it fits in here. Okay, that's gonna look pretty cute. Now, we do already have a Dumbo right here. It's kind of the same scene, but I still think it's gonna look really cool. I kind of want him up above the pocket, so I'm just gonna add the tiniest piece of tape and then just finish taping both these down. To make this a little bit more fun, I'm gonna take a little bit of this daisy trim and kind of put it behind. And I think I'm just gonna take that to my sewing machine and sew across. You can either take your pocket and directly add it to a page, but I'm going to add it to a little bit bigger scrapbook paper. I'm gonna sew around the 3 edges. To attach it, I think I'm gonna skip the first page. That's what I was gonna do at first, but it was basically the same scene, and then I added the scrapbook paper. So I'm gonna find a page that is a little bit more blank. Let's see if we have one back here. We have this second page right here. Yeah. Perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually glue this completely down. And since I sewed the pocket to this scrapbook paper, I can just glue this completely down. And I feel like the pocket ends up being a lot more heavy duty this way. Now again, you could have so much more fun with this pocket. You could add all kinds of things, but I think it also looks really, really cute, just like that. Fun, kind of interactive way to use those book pages. Okay, so let's get on to number 2. And that is going to be using your image to create a tag. I'm gonna use this one right here. So you can make all different sizes of tags, but I'm gonna use one that I already have as a template. I'm realizing that we are gonna cut off quite a bit of his little face, but it's so cute. That's okay. We're gonna go with it. So I have a manila tag. I'm just using this as the base, and I'm just gonna glue this right on down, trying to get at least most of the mouse's face. Do we have a better image that's maybe a little skinnier? I looked and there were just so many. Let's see. Maybe this one will actually work a little bit better. Yeah, I think this one's gonna work better. So I'm just gonna kind of guesstimate where this needs to go. Now you could do this many different ways and just glue, or you could cut your image out first, but I'm just taking a guess. So I'm just gluing my tag right down to the page, the back of the page for the one that I want. And this is a really nice quick one. Then I'll just go ahead and trim around the excess. And yes, I am keeping all of these scraps because even the scraps that have like half of an image can be so cute on a master board or all kinds of different things. So again, I'm gonna keep these scraps and maybe I'll make a second part. There we go. So we have our tag. Now there's lots of different ways again that we can decorate the tag. I'm just gonna re-punch that little hole. I'm using some really cute crinkle seam binding to top it off. And real quick, I wanted to mention, I have so many people asking where I've been getting the crinkled seam binding. So I have the card right here because I always forget to put the link in. Etsy, Cottage Creations. And I believe if you're looking it up on Etsy, it looks like it's actually going to come up under Sherry's Boutique. So it's a little confusing, but you have to probably type in that exact website. And I'm trying to get there. Now we're actually focused. So check her out. I've been using her seam binding and loving it. Okay, so like I said, many different ways you can decorate the tags. I'm just trying to give you a base idea. Like with this one, I put a tab at the top, I put an eyelet, and you could put all kinds of cute little charms and things. Also, I put a pocket, which would be a great way to use this and add a photo, some extra journaling, or any like memorabilia that you have. But I'm gonna keep this one simple, and I'm just going to finish it off. I feel like even just using a little bit of ink really adds a lot. And since I am quite obsessed with these little daisies, and I feel like it looks really cute with the Dumbo theme, I am just actually going to simply staple these on, but you could sew them as well. How cute is that? And these are so quick, so you could make a bunch of these up in advance. So we'll put that one in here. And let's move on to number 3. So we're gonna grab our Snow White book that has the finished pages. Next up, we are going to create a little tab. And you could use this same idea and use this as more of an embellishment for anything, any place in your journal, really. So this is where we are going to use those little images. So I already have a couple. I could also go through and probably find some other little images, you know, any of the little animals work, little flowers even. So for this one, I'm just going to fussy cut around my little bird. And it's really up to you how detailed you get with the fussy cutting. And I want to cut around this one as well, or these two. I'm going to keep these two together. So for this layered embellishment, I'm going to keep it pretty simple, and I am going to use just some scrap fabric that I have, something, you know, that maybe goes along with your colors or your theme. I feel like florals always go. So I just have a little piece that's a rectangle. I'm gonna take a little bit of lace, kind of go across like that. I feel like scrap paper can look really good. I'm gonna grab, actually, yeah. Funny enough, this is a little scrap from one of the little golden books, but honestly, just having different like textures looks really good on any of these layered embellishments. So again, you could keep this flat and use it as more of a layered embellishment, or you can take your little focal point here. Even like some clear stickers would look really cute. I was just thinking like maybe I'm gonna grab one from down below where I have my stickers. Well, maybe not this shape, and I don't want to waste too much of your time, but let me grab like this right here. This is just some like flowers. Actually, that looks kind of cool. So I'm going to take the backing off. I wasn't expecting to like that so much, but I do. So I'm just going to put it right over. So then you just have to decide if you want this to be a layered embellishment. My alarm went off because it's time to get my son, so I don't know where that cut off, but decide if you want it more of a layered embellishment like this, which you can put on the top of a pocket, on a page just for a decoration, an envelope flap, or if you want it more as a tab on the page edge. And then you can, I'm actually going to turn this over. Even though it's backwards, it doesn't really look backwards. And I'm going to staple, but you could also, actually no, I'm going to take this and sew it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my tab be folded right there and have this little guy on the edge. I'll show you what it looks complete. So I just sewed across. I kept it the same length because I'm going to decide where I want it. We'll go on this page right here, maybe down a little bit, and I am just going to fold it over. I'm gonna have it on the page a little bit, and I'm just going to attach this one with my staple. It's a little sideways, so I will try to fix that. Just a few staples, making sure that we have this side on too. There. So I'm going to save this little image for something similar. These can also be really cute if you glue it onto some heavy cardstock and then cut it out and actually use it as a little charm. So that's another idea. Let's grab our Snow White and see what we're going to do next. We are moving on to number 4. So we had our tab for the Snow White one. Next up is going to be a decorated envelope. Super cute. Okay, and I kind of pre-planned these out, so I think I already knew which one I was. We got a big mess going now. We're gonna do this one right here. Now, I think for the envelope, oh, you know what? We're going to do this one. The bigger images actually work perfect. So let me grab my base here. So I'm actually using an envelope as my base, but I have many times I have made envelopes just out of the little golden book pages. Super fun. You can do simple envelopes where you just, you know, fold over 3 ways and have a quick little envelope. That just means that like some of the image it will be upside down if you do it like that. I'm doing a really bad job because I'm not wanting to fold this. I'm doing a bad job at showing you, but there are many different envelope ways that you can do just using the page. But I actually really like just covering an envelope, so that's what we're gonna do. Still very quick and easy, and then it's a little bit more sturdy. I am going to use 2 images for this one, but if you happen to have a page that has like 2 images on the top and bottom, you could possibly just get away with using 1 full page. So I am just going to eyeball this the best I can. I already glued this down, and I'm going to try to line this up so I get most of that image, and I'm starting by covering the front of the envelope here. I'm actually gonna try to make that come up a little bit more. Yeah, that works. I just wanted his cute little hat. So this is very simple, just trim around. And you could use all different types of envelopes in different shapes. And you could cover just one side also, especially if you're going to use this in a journal where you just glue it down to the page. Then I would not recommend covering the other side because you won't see it. I'm just going to take a little bit of brown ink. Again, I feel like it just adds a bit of a more finished look, especially when you're using just a part of an image like this. But that is so cute. You can embellish this so many ways. You can put little jewels in his eyes, add lace. Then I'm going to cover the back. I just realized though that this is kind of a reused envelope, so that's okay though. I'm just going to take a little bit of washi tape to cover that up so that it does not stay sticky, and honestly that will work out just fine. Just take a piece of washi and kind of cover that sticky part best that I can. And this is on the inside of our flap, so it really didn't need to be perfect. That's okay. But one quick tip that I just thought of that I think would be really cute if you do something like that is to finish it off with some little Velcro dots so that your envelope can actually be more of a reusable envelope in your journal. Great spot for some journaling or pictures to be added. So I'm just going to add my little Velcro dot like that, and then just put it on there really well. There. Okay, so let's finish covering this. So for this part, I'm actually going to put like the whole scene, but I'm just going to start by gluing down or gluing onto the flap part. I'm gonna go like that with the glue so that it doesn't smudge out where it's not supposed to. And I'm gonna get like the top of this little scene. Again, you could use a light box or something if you really want the image to be perfect. Then just go ahead and open up your flap. Wait for this to dry maybe. And then just be careful when you are trimming because you want to line up the rest of the scene. So try really hard on this part to cut really close to the flap so you don't have to ruin any of the image. Okay, and then just go ahead and cut the rest off. Best you can, close to the envelope. And then what you're gonna do is line up the rest. Just like this. And you can decide, so take a quick minute or so to make sure you line up that image. And it really doesn't have to be perfect. And if you can't get it like super good, then you can always even add more ink I'll show you what I mean, like around the flap, and that's gonna kind of take away from it. So I'm just gonna trim off the rest. So again, to finish off, I just go around with some more ink. And you can add ink to the flap or you can skip it. I really like adding it though. And there we go. Super cute little envelope. And if you want, you can cover like the rest of this with scrapbook paper, but that part I don't really worry about. I think it looks so cute like this, and it's going to be closed most of the time. I think we're on number 5. I had to go pick my kids up, so. The next one that we're going to do is a really fun one. Now, I was totally inspired by Thrifty Day, and I actually watched one of her tutorials. I'm going to link it below, but I have been making chunky charms for a while. I just have adopted her idea for how to attach it. So we're going to use a book page to create a bookmark charm. And I love this. It's probably my favorite, and I'm probably going to start making these a ton. Now, I did use a laminator for mine. So decide on which image you want to use. And I personally try to pick one that's not too big. So these are really good examples. But sometimes images, like you might have larger images. So I'm gonna choose this elephant right here. And unfortunately, when you do this, of course, you may be cutting into an image that's on the back of the page, or you might be, you know, cutting half of a page away from part of an image, if that makes sense. But I usually will at least keep those, any leftover scraps, and use them for other projects. And in this case, I'll still be able to use a portion of the page. So I am going to try my best to get somewhat close to the outline of this one. Oh, and if you think about it, you can leave extra room at the top. I did not do that, but it's still going to be okay. So keep in mind that you'll be punching a hole at the top. So for instance, I did leave a little bit of room, see, for the Snow White, because I am putting a hole in a little eyelet. So you might not want to put a hole right where their head is, but in some of the cases, you might just have to. It will still look totally fun. Since my images have a book page on the back, you can leave it if you want, but I'm going to have mine be a little bit more finished and glue it onto some scrapbook paper. And so I'm gonna have the pretty side of the scrapbook paper be facing onto the back. So I'm just gonna glue that down. And then I'm going to recut this out. And if you use a double-sided paper, you can leave a little bit of a border around your image that could look really cute, but this one's just white. So I'm just gonna try to cut as close as I can to the actual image. And if you want to save a step, you honestly could have glued your book page down to the scrapbook paper first and then just cut your image out, you know, at one. Try to do this with one hand. I have all of my things in the laminating pouch, and I'm just going to carefully load my laminator. I think I've done a full review on this laminator. I've had it for a few years, haven't used it in a while, but it's very easy. I'm just gonna trim around and leave a little bit of a border. Now, if you don't have a laminator, you can still do something very similar to this. And I would just cut your image out and then back it onto a thicker cardstock. So don't be sad if you don't have a laminator. I definitely recommend still making one of these bookmark charms. Okay, so for the top, we are going to punch a little hole. And same kind of thing. If you don't have a crocodile and an eyelet, I'm gonna go right about there, you can simply just punch a hole and you will be totally fine. And even if you just use the, oh my gosh, why can I think right now? If you did not have a laminator and you're just using like a heavier cardstock to back your image, then you can just still punch the hole, add an eyelet if you have it, or don't if you don't. So I'm gonna do this pretty simple because this part for me can take quite a bit, adding the beads, that is. So I'm gonna take just like 2 pieces of my twine here, probably about, I don't know, 20 inches or so. I actually just ordered some new supplies off Amazon for charm making because I don't think I love my waxed linen thread for these charms, but I also got like a bead threader, which is going to make these charms so much easier. So, okay. So I fold my twine in half and I have 2 pieces. That's going to give us 4 strands. You can make however many you want. I fold it in half, take the little loop and put it through. And then take the ends through that loop and just pull it tight. Now this isn't going to come off, but if you want to be extra safe, you can tie it. You can tie a knot. I'm going to take 2 and 2 and just tie 1 knot here, just like that. That will be fine. And then from here, this is the fun part, but like I said, it's a bit time consuming too. So I have just some random beads that I have pulled out for this specific journal. And then I'm going to also use some little beads in between. So essentially, I'm just going to show you one of these strands. I'm going to take my beads and string it. If you want to put a knot at the top, you can, but I'm just essentially going to knot in between probably just about every bead. Some of these beads do have a larger hole, so I might put a double knot, but I actually just did a charm tutorial. So if you want a more in-depth view of this, you could go check that video out because it's kind of the same thing. So add a bead, add a knot. That's why you want to make sure that your strands are longer than you actually want them. I have this cute little butterfly. These charms are so cute. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to actually tie around it. You don't have to tie the knots in between if you don't want, but I kind of just like how it looks, honestly. Let's see, we'll do a little bow bead. These ones are definitely a little bit harder to thread because the hole is much smaller. Okay, I'm not gonna make you watch. I hate my scissors right now. And then I like to finish each strand off with a little charm, and I will just do a double knot. I'm telling you, the bead threader that I have coming is going to help with this so much. Let me thread up or bead up the last few threads and I'll show you what it looks like. I honestly think this might be one of my new favorite ways to use images. Look how cute that is, and you can have so much fun with this one by matching up different charms and beads that kind of go along with your theme. And I even think that using like botanical images would be so cute. So for this one, you can do so many things with it. You can really just stick it in your journal and leave it as like a bookmark, as a placeholder, and have this kind of hang over. Honestly, a great way even just to add a tassel or beads anyways. Or you can find a pocket and place it in a pocket. And then for this one, I would just kind of, I don't know, I would just I would probably put it over to the edge. And if I was gonna do this version, I might make sure that the beads start a little bit lower on the string. I mean, I can still close this one, but you know, once it gets full. So that would look really cute on the edge as well. So that one has lots of options. Now, I already showed you 5, but I just have a couple more that I will quickly show you. Oh yeah, you could do like a pocket that's a little bit higher up as well, and then have it stick in that way. So lots of different ways with that one. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna show you 2 more actually as a little bonus, similar to what we've already done, but this one works really great when you have smaller images again, and it's just another type of tag. So let me quickly, I have this cute little one right here, and I'm hoping that I have, well, I just have a marker, so we're gonna do our best. And I'm gonna use this circle tape as my guide, and I'm just going to do a circle. If you have dies, you could do this. You could use your dies with this instead. And again, I'm gonna save the scraps because actually, as I've been filming this video, I have thought of a lot of different ideas for the little golden book scraps or any book page scraps. So stay tuned. Just gonna do my best. Oh, if you have circle punches, this would be really great. I have some, but I don't have any really big ones. So I wish I had a few big ones because I would probably make a lot more circle tags for like Patreon. And I even saved this, like I'll probably cut it in half and save it like that, but because I will use those for like master boards and things like that. Okay, let me get a little bit of ink for this one. I'm gonna use a pink ink. So first I'm just gonna go around the edges. And then for this one, I am going to glue it down first because, you know, it can be double-sided, but also at least these book pages are a little bit thinner. So I'm going to, oh, this is gonna be cute anyways, glue this down because 1, I'll have a thicker base, but 2, it looks cute. I'm gonna cut this with a little bit of a border, and I'm not worried about a perfect circle for the second one. This would look really cute sewn also. Whoops. Yeah, I didn't do the greatest job, but that's okay. And then I thought it would be fun to have a second circle. So that's when I took this one and I just used this as my guide for how big. I just want the next circle to be a little bit bigger. Again, it really doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it's up to you, but just gonna cut around like that. Yeah, like that's really not perfect, but I will fix that a little bit. And then many different ways, things you can do here. You could just glue it down and have the back for like a journaling spot. I love using eyelets, so I'm just gonna grab one. And I will attach an eyelet. You could also just punch a hole and make a little tag that way. But I'm going to attach them with an eyelet. And then you could also add a little pocket if you want. That could be another cute little thing. In fact, I'm gonna take some lined paper I have here, and I'm gonna cut out like more of a half circle. I just thought of this right now because why not? And then I think I will take this to the sewing machine, but you could glue this on too and just glue this on the back. There we go. And honestly, when it's not a perfect circle, I think it gives it character. So this is really fun. And then you can add something in here, a picture. You could do journaling, really whatever you want. Add memorabilia. Same thing with this. I would either put it in a pocket. Actually, this one would be so cute, just glued down to a page, but I put that pocket, so I probably wouldn't glue that one. So I'm just gonna stick this here, but that would be really cute glued down. So I said I have one more bonus for you. The little bonus that I want to show you doesn't have anything to do with images or book pages, but it has to do with the little golden book spine, since we're talking about little golden books. So I have quite a few of these that I took off, and what we're going to do is we are going to make a little bookmark. Very simple, and you can decorate this up however you want. You can put charms on it. You can put some little bead dangles. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you sit through me adding the beads, but it's super cute and so easy. A great way to use these up. First of all, you are going to want to try to remove any staples. So I have some wire cutters here. I find that to be kind of the quickest way, but if you're able to get the staple out a different way, then feel free to do that. Mine will just go flying all over the craft room. Why not? Try to really get it off all the way there. Okay, then we're going to take some scrapbook paper. Now, I actually scoured the internet because I know I've seen this done before and I could not find any tutorial because I like to see how other people decorate theirs up. There's probably really cute ways to do this, but anyways, this is what I came up with. So I'm going to take some string here, some twine, and I want it to be double the height with extra, if that even makes any sense. So mine's probably 3 times the height, actually. Yeah, maybe 4 times the height. Then we're gonna fold it in half, and I'm going to add, there's like a little channel in the center here that is a little bit sunken down. And so at first I was just adding the twine to kind of make everything even. But then I thought, oh, it actually has a purpose too. So fold it in half, and then you're going to put it in the center, but you want to leave the little loop at the top like this. And if you don't want to add beads to yours, you don't really have to do this, but so I have the loop at the top, and then I have some extra hanging down, and we can trim that later. But then we're going to go ahead, and you want to glue this to like a pretty heavy cardstock. So I'm just going to add a bunch of glue. And I just realized too that my staples are not really all the way gone, but as long as you can make sure that they are flattened down the best you can, then you'll be fine. You just don't want them going through your cardstock. You can rip them out of the spine as well. So whatever is easiest for you. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and line this up to the top. Turn it over. I'm going to let this dry for a minute, and then we are going to trim around the entire thing. So now you can decorate the loop however you want. So I have the loop at the bottom of my bookmark. So you can either add something to that. I'm going to take a little bulb pen and just add a little charm. You really do want to make sure that this dries all the way, but this is what it looks like when it's all trimmed. So I'm just adding a little bulb pin with a little house charm. So that will come out like the bottom of the journal or the book. And then if you want, you can add beads to the top. I'm gonna trim mine a little bit. And actually, you know what? No, I think I'm just gonna add, just to keep it pretty simple, I'm going to add, 2 little tassels at the end. But honestly, you can have so much fun adding beads to these. I really couldn't help myself. I went ahead and added some beads because it just looks so cute. And then the little charm at the bottom. So this is kind of the same as the other bookmark, where you can just kind of stick it wherever you want if you are working on a certain page. And then you have some cute Now we have all kinds of beads going on. So I love the beaded ones so much. And if you want to further decorate that last bookmark, you can absolutely add, if you have little page images that go along, you could kind of decorate this all the way up and down. So that is just one more option. But that's going to be the last one that I show you for today. Let me know down below what was your favorite. I had so much fun making this video for you guys, and please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I will see you guys later and have a great day. Bye.